highlighting history of suburban Sydney with the St Peter's Cooks River History Group.
Our aim is to preserve and promote local history.
We are based at St Peter's in Sydney's inner west.
Fairfield is one of the most diverse multicultural cities in Australia. More than half of the residents were born overseas, mostly in non-English speaking countries.
Aboriginal people from the Cabrogal tribe originally lived in the area.
In 1803, Governor King granted 12,300 acres to the orphan estate. Sydney Boys Orphan School was relocated there in 1824. The schoolmaster's house, Bonnyrigg House on Cartwright Street, was built in 1826.
In the late 1870s and early 80s, the orphan estate was subdivided. A large section of land along Orphan School Creek was purchased by William Stimson. The family occupied Bonnyrigg House and were involved in the timber industry, grape growing and market gardens. In 1877, Stimson built Cambridge House. The Cambridge Tavern was built on the site in 1979.
Colonel George Johnson's 2,000-acre property was granted to him by Governor King as a reward for his part in putting down the Irish rebellion at Vinegar Hill. After his death, it passed to his daughter Blanche, whose husband, Major George Nicholas Weston, built a homestead named Horsley, after his family home, West Horsley Place in Surrey, England. Today the area is a suburb of Horsley Park, location of the Sydney International Equestrian Centre.
Gabriel Huon de Kerallo fled France during the French Revolution and joined the New South Wales Corps. In 1807 he received a grant of 100 acres which he named Castel Paul, the English form of the town in which he was born in Brittany.
By 1814, subsequent owners had added several other grants to the estate, and it covered 700 acres. The property was purchased by John Horsley, who named it Mark Lodge, after family properties in Essex, England. The Horsley family lived there until it was bought by Dr. William Bland in 1840. After Bland's death, the property was subdivided in 1885.
Today, an oak tree planted by Bland still stands in Oakdean Park.
In 1841, the first township on the road between Liverpool and Parramatta was Smithfield. It was named by John Ryan Brennan, who established cattle and meat markets there. Cattle markets in London and Dublin were named Smithfield.
Fairfield Railway Station opened in 1856. The east platform is original and the station master's residence is the oldest building still in existence in the New South Wales railway system.
The coming of the railway led to the expansion of local industries such as timber, fruit and agricultural produce.
The Hurst brothers owned 2 timber mills. The Fairfield mill site is now the location of the courthouse. The Cabramatta site is occupied by Woolworths.
In 1870, Thomas Ware Smart, businessman and politician, built Fairfield House near the railway station as a country retreat.
The township of Cabramatta became another main centre when a railway station opened in 1870. Land subdivisions for the township of Cabramatta were auctioned in 1884.
Smithfield Cemetery was established in the 1870s for the Baptist community. It was used by the whole community after nearby graveyards at the Anglican and Methodist churches became crowded. The cemetery is still operational and is managed by the Syrian Orthodox Archdiocese.
Canley Grange, the residence of Sir Henry Parkes, Premier of New South Wales, was built in the 1870s. A railway siding named Canley Vale was built for him.
As a result of land sales in the 1880s, Fairfield Township replaced Smithfield as the main commercial centre.
In the 1880s, land owned by Nathaniel Bull was subdivided, creating St John's Park. It became a thriving village, with a Progress Association and School of Arts. Poultry farming was the main industry. It became one of the state's most intensive poultry farming areas.
By 1900, Prospect Creek had a reputation for being popular with boating parties. Laddie's Boat Shed and Pleasure Grounds was a successful business from the 1880s until the mid-1950s.
The population increased rapidly after World War I, with the settlement of many ex-servicemen and European migrants. Land sales and subdivision had increased, as did building activity.
Carramar's name came from an Aboriginal word meaning shade of trees. When a railway station opened in 1924, it was called South Fairfield. 2 years later, it was changed to Carramar.
Carramar Public School, formerly known as Villawood Public School, was established in 1924 on land known as Mark Lodge Estate.
Dramatic changes in population and development of the area occurred post-World War II. The New South Wales Housing Commission purchased large areas of land. Migrant hostels were established at Cabramatta and Villawood to accommodate displaced persons and assisted migrants.
Prior to 1948, the Nissen huts at Villawood operated as a munitions factory. The buildings were converted to living quarters, kitchens and laundries. Many migrants made their homes in Fairfield and established businesses.
In 1952, the Russian community purchased a block of land in Barbara Street. A temporary timber building was erected and St Nicholas's Russian Orthodox Church was completed in 1956.
Planning for the Fairfield Showground began in 1954. In December the following year, the first annual show was held by the Agricultural and Horticultural Society. The Fairfield Harness Racing Club held race meetings there from 1964 till 2017. It is a venue for the Fairfield markets, which have been operating each weekend since the 70s.
In September 1956, Fairfield Hospital was officially opened. The hospital was decommissioned in 1987 and relocated to Prairiewood.
Club Marconi, located at Bosley Park, was founded as a bocce club in 1956 by members of the Italian community. The original club building opened in 1958.
A new Cabramatta library, designed by Harry Seidler, opened in 1975. It was later named the Whitlam Library after the then Prime Minister of Australia, Gough Whitlam. His former Cabramatta house is now the Whitlam Institute.
In 1979, the year Fairfield became a city, refugees from Indochina began to live in Cabramatta.
The Assyrian-Australian Association opened the Nineveh Club in 1980. During the 1980s war between Iraq and Iran, a large number of Assyrians fled Iraq and settled in Fairfield.
Established in 1983, the Fairfield City Museum and Gallery consists of a heritage museum, art gallery and vintage village. The village is an historic recreation of Fairfield City businesses and residences between the 1880s and 1930s. It has a mixture of original and reconstructed buildings.
Victoria Street School is a one-room schoolhouse. Caversham Cottage was built around 1880 at 63 Smart Street, Fairfield.
The slab hut was built by Nathan Rule circa 1886 and was originally located at 53 Church Street, Cabramatta. Wheatley Store is a reconstruction of a business which operated from 1892 to 1953 on Hamilton Road in Fairfield West.
Robson Brothers Blacksmith represents a Smithville-based blacksmith business as it existed between 1911 and 1924. Money's Motor Garage is a reconstruction of the Money family bus and motor garage business, which was on the corner of Liverpool Road and Smithville Street from 1929 until 1956.
The Bez Printery reconstructs the printing house which printed Fairfield's first newspaper.
Buildings and places of interest are
the School of Arts building, established in the late 19th century.
The Uniting Church, made up of two churches which were originally Methodist. When the brick church was built in 1927, the original 1884 weatherboard building was moved a few metres to make space and became the church hall.
The fire station in William Street was built in 1925. Firefighters farewelled their 93-year-old station in 2016 when a replacement one was opened at Yennora.
Shop fronts along the Crescent date from the late 1890s to the 1920s.
Two iconic local landmarks, the Crescent Cinema facade and the Fairfield Hotel bookend the Crescent.
Honour Avenue was built to honour the Fairfield residents who served in world wars.
In Crescent Park, the Fairfield International Monument commemorates the contribution of migrants to the city of Fairfield.
The clock tower is also in the park.
At Carmsley Hill City Farm, formerly Fairfield City Farm, children can get up close to native and farmyard animals.
A number of cinemas were located in the district.
The Crescent Cinema opened in 1916 in competition with the Fairfield Picture Palace, formerly known as the Butterfly.
In 1928, the Crescent was rebuilt as the Plaza.
A new cinema, also named the Crescent, opened in 1934. 10 years later it became Hoyt's Crescent. It closed in 1967. The building survived for several decades as a furniture store. The auditorium has been demolished, but the facade still stands.
At Cabramatta, the Protea Cinema opened in the former Protea Hall in 1935. In 1952 it was renamed the Royal Theatre, before closing in 1965. Since then the building has been used as a dance hall, boxing stadium, supermarket and function centre.
El Rancho Drive-In opened in March 1957 on Hamilton Road in Fairfield West and closed as a Skyline Drive-In in 1984. The site is now occupied by Mary MacKillop College, Wakeley. The name change from Fairfield West to Wakeley occurred in the early 1980s as the area became urbanised.
The Orion Theatre in Canley Heights opened in 1958. It was demolished at the end of 1963. West Village now stands on the site.
Hoyt's Forum Twin Cinema opened in March 1983. Hoyt's moved out in 1992 to their new Wetherill Park multiplex cinema. It was renamed Fairfield Cinema. In 2006 it was re-established as World Cinemas, before closing in 2010. The site became a fitness gym centre.
Shopping locations in Fairfield are the Fairfield Forum, Fairfield City Central, originally Nita City, Civic Plaza and Fairfield Chase. The Fairfield Chase Commercial Tower was Fairfield's first high-rise structure.
Today, Fairfield City is predominantly residential, with 6 industrial and business areas. The Smithfield Wetherill Park Industrial Estate is the largest industrial estate in the Southern Hemisphere. It is a centre of manufacturing and distribution for more than 1,000 manufacturing, wholesale, transport and service firms.
If you have enjoyed this video, subscribe to our channel. It's free. Coming soon, the Barrenjoey Peninsula. And check out our website, stpeterscooksriverhistory.wordpress.com. Visit us the first Saturday of every month from 1:30 to 4:30, 187 Princess Highway, St Peters.